Brandon Stevens is in the middle of a contract season for the Ravens. B. Steve is coming off a career year, and this is a big season for him when it comes to his future. This is year 4. Brandon was, I believe, make sure that I have this right. I want to say he was a 4th rounder out of SMU, but I want to say he was actually a 3rd rounder. And that's correct. He was a transfer from UCLA to SMU. He was drafted in the 3rd round in 2021. And he's done a little bit of everything since he's gotten here, whether it be safety, corner, special teams. And don't forget, this is a converted running back at points throughout his college career. So he's very versatile. He's a team guy, always faces the music. I really enjoyed getting to know him when I had access to the locker room. Unfortunately for Brandon, he's been picked on this year, and no other cornerback on this defense has given up more yards than number 21. Right out of the gate, obviously they saw some tough a murderer's row beginning of the season when it comes to quarterbacks. And hand in hand, who he was assigned to, opposing team playmaker-wise, really had, it gave him fits. And I think as Jon Gruden illustrates here, it's become pretty clear that maybe, just maybe, Brandon's got a little bit of a target on his back this year as somebody you want to test. Listen to Coach.
Here is Stevens, number 21, Brandon Stevens. Make a note of Stevens. He has really struggled this year finding the ball in the blind spot. He's playing the receiver. He's in perfect position. The ball's in the air, but he can't find it and play it. He's been beat for a lot of yards. If you just look at the quarterback rating alone against Stevens, it's one of the highest in all of football. I know where Joe Burrow's looking. He's looking at number 21, and Stevens has to be ready to start making some plays on the ball. There's a bullseye on him.
Oh, boy. All right. You heard it there from Coach. He has really struggled this year finding the ball in the blind spot, which we've all taken notice of. I know where Joe Burrow's looking. He's looking at number 21. There's a bullseye on him. That from Coach Gruden about what he's seen on tape from Brandon Stevens, and here are the numbers that back that up. He's logged 414 coverage snaps, 53 targets, a 7.8 number in terms of target per coverage snap. He's allowed 35 receptions of those 53 targets. He's giving up 11.8 yards per coverage snap, 514 in total. He does have one dropped interception, and opposing quarterbacks have a passer rating of 116.4. In other news, he's having a tough year, and no other cornerback on this team has given up more yards aside from number 21, as I mentioned a second ago. He does have 6 forced incompletions, 3 PBUs, and he's allowed 3 touchdowns. So, for what was, and he's still got a long way to go. And I really admire how fearless he is, how sticky he is, and how much he blankets himself to opposing playmakers. That said, he's given up some big plays this year, some pivotal plays. And in the middle of a contract year, you got to wonder, especially when the Ravens just went out and signed Tre'Davious White, or traded for Tre'Davious White, what is Brandon's imminent future in Baltimore? He's gone, in my mind, as someone who at the beginning of the year would be one of those dark horse candidates for the Ravens and Eric DeCosta to get out in front of and sign and extend, I should say, to somebody who I don't even know if he's going to be in Baltimore come next year. That's a tough reality for Brandon. Again, 414 coverage snaps. He's got a lot of work. He's done a lot for this team. He's done everything asked of him. Unfortunately, he's been on the wrong end of a number of different plays. A few come to mind, particularly when he had to face Terry McLaurin. That was a tough assignment for him that day in Baltimore. 53 targets, 35 receptions. 514 yards have been allowed. 3 touchdowns. And again, that passer rating is something that jumps off the page when you take a look at this from PFF. 116.4 passer rating for opposing quarterbacks that are targeting. You can see why Coach Gruden was like, this is the guy. He's got a bullseye on his back. Chad Spiegel says he just needs to learn to track the ball better. Jamari says damn near perfect passer rating. Dre Dog says, yikes, what happened to B. Steve? Now, I want to be fair here. We're getting after these numbers pretty good. But in the same breath, he and the rest of the secondary have been put in no man's land time and time again because of the lack of consistent pressure up front. You are forced to cover for seconds and seconds and seconds on end. And when you have tough assignments like Terry McLaurin, like Jamar Chase, like Devontae Adams, all of whom have been on Brandon Stevens' plate this year, and that's just to name a few. CeeDee Lamb, that's tough. Most NFL corners that are put in his shoes probably would be in the boat that B. Steve is right now through 9 weeks. That's part of the harsh reality when you aren't getting home, when your interior defensive line is banged up, when your edge presence in Kyle Van Noy starts to get doubled and chipped. That's the reality of it. It's a tough world to live in from a secondary standpoint. Outside of Brandon Stevens, I found this to be interesting. And by the way, if you guys want to call in, there is a link that's included as a pinned comment in the live chat. I'll open up the guest lines in just a bit if you're interested. More from Coach Gruden, though, as I switch over to the offensive side of the ball. And this is not a drill, but Daniel Fa'alele was given some flowers by Coach Gruden based on what he's seen on film from the big fella, the right guard, 6'8", 300-plus pounds. The experiment from a couple months ago. Do we owe this kid an apology? Listen to Coach.
Lele, the right guard, he is fun to watch. He's as big a right guard as you will see. He's moving his feet better. And Lamar Jackson's had a lot of time to throw, and a lot of that is because Fa'alele is moving his feet better and handling some of these twists and movements up front better.
Okay. Daniel Fa'alele getting singled out in the best of ways by Coach Gruden. He's fun to watch. He's as big a right guard as you will see. He's moving his feet better, and Lamar Jackson's had a lot of time to throw. And a lot of that is because Fa'alele is moving his feet better. There are still times, don't get me wrong, there are still reps where you just kind of sit there and you're scratching your head and you're thinking, oh man, he just got beat so badly that Lamar had to show off that escapability. Lamar had to show off the way that he evades pressure when the pocket collapses. And my, oh my, if that were any other quarterback, that play would be sunk. There have been plenty of those. At the same time, Fa'alele's opened up some holes in the rushing game. He's become an effective blocker. And I think he's using his feet, to Coach Gruden's point, better. He's become a little bit more of a mauler. It wasn't all that long ago, just over a month ago, that we were all kind of asking, I want to see him get physical. I want to see him get mean in the trenches. And I think Daniel showed that there is a reason why John Harbaugh and company have entrusted him, have given him this opportunity, have gone with the project, the experiment that was Daniel Fa'alele, who looked really, really newly minted and vulnerable after the first couple weeks of this season. But I got to give it to him. He's playing good football, and Coach Gruden got him. Chef says, you don't need apologies or thanks for doing your job. Fair enough. Fair enough. Look at what number 8 has done under pressure this season. Would not be surprised if Lou Anarumo starts dialing up more packages. You know, he did plenty of that the first time around when these two teams met. But Lamar torched him. You cannot blitz Lamar and expect to keep him at bay. According to PFF, he's got the highest graded quarterback rating when under pressure this season. He's thrown the most touchdown passes, and it's clean. No interceptions. Guy's only got 2 on the year. One of them was that bobble from Rashad Bateman. Lamar's playing at a ridiculous level right now. I think we all understand that. But what he's doing under pressure, the way that he's getting rid of the ball quickly, the windows that he's finding ways to fit footballs into, one that resulted in a Rashad Bateman drop this past Sunday against the Broncos, was just perfectly fitted in the tight window, and Bateman drops it right in the breadbasket. That's 3 drops in the last 2 weeks. That's tough. That's tough because of obviously where he was just a couple weeks ago with a career night on primetime Monday Night Football in Tampa Bay. But I think what Lamar's shown you is that his cadence, his understanding of the offense, his feel up at the line of scrimmage, and the way that he trusts some of his playmakers has allowed him to be lethal when he's under pressure. Over 600 of you joining me tonight. We'll have some football coming up tomorrow, of course. Y'all know what's going on. 8:15. Give me your predictions in the live chat. Would love to hear them and see them. I'll be at the BMO Around Town tailgate for pregame coverage. Hope to see some of you guys out there. You can get your tickets at bmorearoundtown.com. All-inclusive bar, food, axe throwing, photo booths. You can hang with me and come on the show. They got a outdoor golf simulator. Tailgate's just been unbelievable of late, especially on Sunday for reasons that I think you guys know why.